Hi, today I'd like to look at how we can download model media from a website like Morphosource that has many fossil remains preserved as digital files that we can use to in our third assignment, if that's what you've chosen to do, and if you need 3D models to represent some form, you may find what you need here. So once you've found what you're looking for, then you have to download it. Now you'll run into a few things here. So let's look at the different situations. So in a case like this, so this is a Homo naledi, and this is a mandible fragment, and there's information here about how it was created, where it is from, who scanned it, and so on, and about the anatomical element here, the genus and species. And then over here we find some information about the file format. And this is a 3D mesh, which is what we want. But this is a polygon file format. So this is a .ply file. So we can download this, and I already have. And you'll get something like this, a compressed zipped folder. So if I'm on a Windows machine right now, and it will work the same on a Mac. The interface will be a little bit different, but if you just double click on this, it will open it up in a new window and ask you if you want to extract it. On Windows anyway. On the Mac, it will just create a new folder in the same directory. So I can extract this, and then we will have a folder like this that has some information in an Excel spreadsheet that gives us information about the download and information about how the specimen and how it was scanned. But what we're more interested in is this 3D object file. So this one is the PLY file, and if I try to import this directly into Maya, so I've got Maya open here, and go to File and Import. If I select this one, see PLY file, and say Import, we'll get a warning saying it's an unrecognized file type. So we can use .ply files, but there's a workaround that we need to do. So before we get there, let's look at another type of situation. So if I go back here, just going to go back. So if I look in here under, once this updates, yeah, so if I go into somewhere like this, I think, okay, so here, if I go into, this is Australopithecus sediba, Lee Berger. So if we grab one of these files, and click on this, we can see the same information here, but this is a 3D mesh, and this one is a standard tessellation language file, an STL file. Now these can be opened directly in Maya, so I can download this, which I've already done. So that will be this one. Double click on it to extract. Now if I go into Maya, navigate to this new folder. See, this is a STL file. And if we wait for a moment, then you can see it's actually brought into Maya. It's got this black material on it. So if I just select it, now it will be different for each one you bring in, but if you select it here in the attribute editor, we see a polysurface shape, and then Fong, and that describes the material on the surface. And we can just change the color of this. And then we can see it here. So STL files can be imported directly into Maya, and in the next video we'll talk about centering these in our scene and adding lights and rendering them. But let's look at how we can get that PLY file into Maya. And we have to use a third application for this. So we've got Morphosource, we've got Maya, and in between we're going to use a program called MeshLab. Now this should be installed on the lab computers, and you can download this for free to use at home. There's a link in the resources folder of the website. So if I just go to File and Import Mesh, I'm going to navigate to my downloads. Is it this one? Nope. So you can see that it can import these ones without a problem. So there it is. And I'm just using my left mouse button to rotate around. But we don't really have to do anything with the objects in here. See, this one has a surface texture on it as well. So we can see that kind of detail. So if we want to bring this into Maya, then we have to export this. Say export mesh. Oops. Sorry. Export mesh as, and here we can choose different file formats. So there's the PLY, which is no good to us. So STL we know works, we can try that. We can try OBJ, which that will work, and yeah, one of those two. There are others that will work here, but those ones will definitely work. So let's try the STL. And we'll just export it to the same location. Alright, we can just leave everything as is. So now if we go back into Maya and open a new scene, I'm going to save that. And if we go to File and Import, navigate to the correct folder. Right, so there's the PLY that we couldn't open. Here's the STL that we just exported. And if we import that, so it looks like it brought something in. I just hit A on the keyboard to show all. And there we go. Turn up the color. And then we have the homonelady mandible ready for illustration. So in the next video we'll come back in and look at how to center these in our scene and prepare them for rendering and as reference for illustration. Oh, one thing I should mention, if we just pop back here into Morphosource, let's go, whoops. First of all, I have to say you've got to log in, so I'm logged in here. You can't download anything without logging in, so you have to make an account. But if we browse around and look for so Australopithecus, so here's one, Australopithecus afarensis, and here's a sample. So here's part of the pelvis and two files. We click on this, you'll see there's the polygon file format, so two parts of the pelvis, pubic symphysis here. But some of them will say request download of media. And so I asked earlier when you were first planning these projects that to make sure that you could get access to the files that you want. And some of them, like we saw just previously, you can just download without a problem. Some you have to request a download and you have to give an idea of what you're using it for. And so you can request a download saying you're using it for an illustration project or scientific visualization and you'd like to use it in this project. Now, I can't guarantee that they will allow you to download it, and I don't know how long it would take. So I recommend that if it's something you need, you try and do this right away before it gets too late. This is not something you can leave till just before the project is due. Okay, so we'll come back in and look at manipulating these models in Maya next. Thanks.